might swear, so I do apologize. There's a lot of bullshit in the market that we work in. We're in e-com. It's fast, it's furious, it's a lot of stress. And what I'm about to tell you is the story of a 20-odd-year-old brand that's now become 25 years old, which now I own. But when I was brought on to this 20-year-old brand, a few years ago, I was actually brought on as their CEO to shut the business down. So my mandate was to come in and shut down a business. So been there, done that. I'm a mergers and acquisitions guy. I got nothing to do with, feelings. So I just went in and I needed to do what I needed to do. Walked into the business, noticed a number of things. They had 7 years of inventory. They had a CFO who was paying himself $300,000 a year. We had 32 staff. We had inventory that was dating back 7 years in 2 warehouses. So give you 3 guesses, the pain that business was in. It was part of a global brand, and that global brand was based upon a party plan business. So that party plan business was, as you know, like Tupperware and those sort of things. It's long gone, and it was a different era, and the world has moved on. My job was to come in and literally go in and liquidate the inventory that we had there. Is to go in and try and make as much money. The business was losing $5 million a year. It added a debt to the US global head office of $15 million. So that was my day one welcome on board onboarding. My next job was to then obviously scale down the business, and we did it over a course of 18 months. So 18 months was pretty hard to do. One thing we also had in my favor was a database of about 100,000 customers buying for the last 20 years regularly. They were so loyal to the business. We had social sites with lots of followers. We even had a consultancy base of 2,500 consultants, ex-party planners, passionate about the business, seriously passionate about the business. So when I told them that the business was closing down, I was public enemy number one, particularly because it was a party plan business, and a lot of these ladies were losing a lot of their personal income. So clearly, as the bearer of bad news, I was let's call it the scapegoat. So what I then did was delivered what my global employer wanted me to do. I shut the business down. So I literally got to the point of turning the lights off in the warehouses, and we sold all the inventory at nothing. We used a lot of inventory liquidators. So that's the hardest thing to do, is to try and find value for inventory of 7 years old. A lot of it ended up regretfully in landfill. We couldn't give away a lot of the products to charity. The charities said, no, that's rubbish, which it was. Yeah. So fast forward a little bit of time, and then I said to the US global company, and I said, look, this business has got a lot of legs to it. Many years ago, it used to be a $22, $23 million a year business running in Australia. Very powerful. What happened? Bad management. Yeah? Bad inventory control, lack of discipline, lack of digital focus, and they really just kept spending money like drunken sailors. So what did I do? I could have stayed in terms of, I finished the job. I could have left and gone on to another job. But no, stupid me went, there's a database. There's customers who love this product, and I'll talk about the product in a second. They've been buying for 20 years, yeah? There's a social following that's extraordinary. Do I just let it go and just move on? Or do I go back to the global office and say, I'd like to take it on as an exclusive distributor here in Australia? And they said, yeah, sure, you can become an exclusive distributor. Here's the price. And I went, well, no, you were just about to delete all customers, shut down everything, and walk away from this sort of marketplace. So what happened was, for the grand dollar commercial sum, I got the exclusive license to the world's best fragrance business. So that was great. So we're now exclusive in Australia. So what was my first thing that I had to do was to basically reposition and rebrand the business, because we couldn't operate under the old name anymore. But instead of being a candle company, we completely reframed the conversation to a well-being company. It's all about the story. Well-being is so important because I was sitting and talking to Rich yesterday from Rebuy, one of our partners, and Rich just goes, oh my God, Party Light, I know that because my auntie used to have that product. There's a passion, there's a history. But he says, oh no, I love candles because I get to relax. I get to set the vibe. So really, a candle's a candle's a candle, seriously. But when you reposition it and refunction it as a well-being product to help you relax and set the vibe within your home space, it opens up a whole bunch of different conversation opportunities that you can do to market yourself across the different channels that we have. So, what do we start with? First and foremost, we had to re-platform rapidly because we had Magento. So anybody who is on Magento, we had a labyrinth of terrible, terrible infrastructure. So I started from a very clean, very elegant tech stack, Shopify. So what I wanted to do was to have no problems. I sat up and I said, okay, I want very simple apps so we can easily plug in. We had an affiliate group. That affiliate group, we wanted to manage, we wanted to monitor, we wanted to account for every sale that went through, which linked into Xero, very simple. So what I needed to do was to get a thing called Up Promote. Up Promote was the app that we plugged in, super cheap, right? Super effective and very easy to use. One of the keys to our digital transformation is to use simple apps that have very powerful outputs and have great support teams to help you achieve what you want to achieve. That was that mandate that I set from get-go. So that was our affiliates. Then we had a simple other plugin because the whole positioning of the business, as I said, was the changing it to the wellbeing model. I then wanted to turn the business into another part which actually was all about a low-cost operator. And if I was a low-cost operator, I wanted to be like the Ryanair of this world. Good service, good functionality, great profits. But you needed to do that at a low cost. So the previous business was extremely high cost, and this was low cost. So what we had to do is to slash every single cost possible. Everything was outsourced. So now I have 3PLs. That 3PL needed to seamlessly integrate with my tech stack. We use ShipBob. ShipBob, beautiful tech back end. We had to learn a lot through that process with them, but now we're at a great stage with that. We then used Klaviyo for our CRM. Beautiful tech stack, absolutely stunning. You know, Klaviyo is like having a Ferrari in your cupboard, yeah? But you got to learn to use it. And we're still discovering it, yeah? And I'll talk about that in growth and later on. We then popped into there just the normal things like A2X, because A2X actually help us connect our inventory with our sales so we can in fact understand where the things were going, yeah? Analytics is really important to me to understand where the dollars are and coming and going. So that was our tech stack that we put in place. Then what we needed to do was to re-energize and reconnect with our, let's call it ambassador, or our consultants. We initially called them ambassadors. That didn't kind of fly too well because they didn't really want to be called an affiliate. But at the same time, I was pushing uphill because I had no idea there was a separate group out there from these disgruntled folks who'd set up Facebook groups called Say No to Glow. So these were the ladies who were the old consultants who had a personal shot against me, wanting to shut me down before I actually got forward any further. So that was a bit of headwinds from the first bit, which I completely did not expect. But hell have no fury, yeah? So we just literally rose above that and moved on. But that was the first challenge of let's call it consultative feedback and pushback. So what did I do? Well, I thought, you got to win the people to win Rome, yeah? So what we did was we did town halls, roadshows around Australia to get them to see me, to talk and understand the future where the business is going. We re-energized them. We refocused them. We called them ambassadors. Why do we call them ambassadors? Because they are ambassadors of our brand. They love it. They buy our products all the time. they then promote their products to their friends, their families, their relatives, and their individual Facebook communities. Now, at that stage, we fell right down to about 900 people because they were just going at the rate of knots, because these other people were very influential in getting people to leave us. So we were losing people faster than gaining. So that was a big challenge. So what did we do? As I said, the national town halls. We then looked at a complete rechange to our affiliate program, and we call them ambassadors, each of which have got a Facebook, Instagram page of about 100 people. So that's quite a big number in a multiplication type factor for your brand. So we educated them, we excited them, and we gave them a lot of engagement. Yeah, we have our internal Facebook group to which we have very personalized conversations with them on an ongoing basis. I, as the CEO, call them. I do a random CEO call to a random, we brace them into top, middle, and bottom performers. I then call them every now and again and just say, hey, thanks, congrats, how you going? Likewise, I do that with our new customer of the week, and I do one new customer of the week, and I do one existing customer of the week, literally calling them up and giving them a gift card. Yeah, when the CEO of a company supplying them with candles or whatever calls them up, they go, oh my God, what have I done? Have we done something wrong? No, I'm just saying thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty much irrelevant in my business right now, except for that. Yeah, I've built the business now so it runs on autopilot. Yeah, thanks to our suppliers, and I'll talk about all the suppliers, how we integrate and how we optimize moving forward. Now, for CS, for customer service, the previous business had a customer service operator being paid $120,000 a year for doing 10 tickets a day. Do the math, right? I now have a customer service team based out of, we use Gorgeous as a beautiful plugin. So anybody from Gorgeous, thank you very much. They are gorgeous, yeah. We use them, and we've now plugged into that, and we've now used 90% of all our customer service tickets are answered by AI. So we then look at that, but before we got to that, we also used a company called Influx, which is a company out of Melbourne. And Influx actually provide us with the human fallback for the customer service. And they also now provide us with our total marketing outsource team. Why? Because they learned it from the customer service angle. They know the product, they know the customers, they know how to talk. All they needed to do is to train them of how to execute our marketing program. And so our marketing program is done annually. We then create our campaign calendar annually, our social calendar annually. We have weekly meetings, stand-up meetings every 3 days a week, 15 minutes, quick overview, what are they doing, how are they going, any problems, how can I solve? My job is a solver, mine's not anything else other than that, and I love the process. These people are fractional of a cost of what we used to have before. The output is massive, absolutely massive. And these people would walk over coals, nothing's too difficult. So Influx, shout out to Influx, shout out to Gorgeous, perfect combination. Gorgeous is also connected in with Klaviyo, so we have a beautiful structured flow all the way through. So it becomes seamless. As you can see, the tech stack becomes very seamless and very simple to put in play. One final thing with the tech stack that I might mention, that we're always adding on very structured approaches to it. And we'll only add as I said before, we'll only add an app that is simple to use, that has got a lot of reviews, obviously, as you always do when you're plugging in an app. I never look at the top reviews. I always look at the ones down the bottom. What's the ones? And what do they say in the ones? And then we install it. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So the tech stack replatforming was really important. The re-energization of our team. Now, coming back to the ambassadors. The ambassadors are amazing people. They are running at a rate of knots, and I'll tell you how many we've got right now, and we continually are adding them on an ongoing basis. We've given them a reward structure and a commission structure that starts at 15%, raises to 22, to 24, to 28, to 30%. So any really smart operator who's good at digital, like Rich, can in fact make a lot of money per month, but they recycle back to 15% at the beginning of each month. Yeah, so it just keeps them going and keeps them, like any sales rep, you're only as good as what you're selling at any point in time. So the group there is well looked after. Now, where do we earn most of our money from? Sorry, I've been talking too much last night. We have an amazing customer base, and that customer base we've nurtured all the way through. We use Klaviyo, and Klaviyo is our go-to. Klaviyo, which is Klaviyo has got a really great opportunity to build and grow, as you said, campaign level and on flows. Out of campaign flows, we're currently earning about 15 to 20% of our income, so it's automated. This is the thing about Klaviyo. You can set it up, set, forget, but you then have to revisit every 3 months. Yeah, we are continually optimizing and improving what we do. Why? Because you test, measure, learn. It's continual. Yeah, we just don't stop. Yeah, just like with our customer service team, we sit them down every week. We have what we call an optimization meeting. And that optimization meeting is literally they rank and score. They present me with a beautiful PowerPoint presentation, which has got all our key metrics that we monitor. Yeah, first response time, medium response time, all the way down to customer service CSAT scores. We monitor that on an ongoing basis. What do? We then say, okay, well, how do we improve on this? We review literally tickets every single time. We do random ticket evaluation. From that, we find out what we can optimize, what we can improve. And that goes into our playbook. And our playbook is effectively our procedures manual. Our procedures manual literally has been built over the last 3 years now. And that has been a godsend in 2 reasons. Number one, to keep processes going. But number two, we've used that as the baseline input to all our AI functions. So we have a marketing playbook, we have a CX playbook, we have a distribution, as in a fulfillment playbook. Every single one of them goes into that playbook, and away we go. It is sensational because I become more and more and more redundant as we go, the better off that book is. So each time we make an error or we improve, we change the playbook and then we improve our processes to improve the outcome ongoing. So it's like keep going the old control. Could we beat the control with a new test? Or if there's a problem, we fix it up. Yeah, so this is the process we're coming down. Then we have another area in the business where we've really grown out, sort of an area where we kind of made a lot of mistakes, which is advertising. And I was saying to a group here before, we have had 3 agencies that we've worked with to help us really do great meta advertising, right? And Google, blah, 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 blah. I've heard it all, the BS before, right? I get the bullshit brigade roll in, the bullshit brigade rolls in, tells me how great they are. They then give me the work experience kids at the end. So if you've had that experience, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Effectively, we started doing it ourselves. We kicked off with very good cost per acquisitions, very low, and our ROI was high. Every time we handed it over, called them Josh ruined it because CPAs went up, return on investment went down. And then they kind of never got the concept. They kept thinking us as a candle company. We're not a candle company, we're a well-being company that goes right across your cohorts. Our cohorts go, it's female only, sorry guys in the room, it's female only. We go from literally 35, that's our sweet spot, 35 to 65. Yeah, and what we're doing now is we're getting a new group. I found out a new name which I can now apply to it, which I'll give to you now, the Zillennials. So we're now focusing in on the Zillennials, and we're also focusing in on the high-end baby boomers so we can start to recession-proof our business. And that's kind of where we're aiming at now for some of the growth. So what we've done there is we scale it one more down. Just track my time. Yep. With respect to the platforms that we use and the agencies, We've had the agency work. We've now taken that yet again in-house. So we do all of our advertising in-house. If anybody here is an advertising agency, one of the things that I've put out to every single agency of recent times who keep knocking on our door, I say, look, if you can beat our numbers, great. But you know what I'll do? Let's do a profit share. Why? It's because we currently run on an 80% product margin. We currently run at about a 55% gross profit margin. Okay, so let's play. We've got some margin in this business. Not one has ever put up their shingle and say, yes, I'll take the bet. Not one. Right? So anybody? I'd love to pick it up. Why? Because we've got such an awesome opportunity. So on the other side of things with agencies, we've also used a lot of agencies for our new world that we're moving into, get more incremental sales, which is marketplaces. We tried marketplaces ourselves. Too hard, rabbit holes, too difficult. We weren't great at what we do. What I then turned around and said, let's go and find ourselves someone who's good at it. Again, we're now on our third one, but I think we've stopped at our third one. I think we've found our true love. Yeah, and that's Channel Whiz, the guys up the back. Nimrod and team. Hey, yes, exactly. Thank you. That team is sensational. We're cutting down, we're knocking down walls, and as you know, if you ever deal with marketplaces, there's always barriers, there's always difficulties, and it's very hard to do. So Channel Whiz, fantastic guys. Really, this is almost like a promo for all my team. But again, you get the right team, you get the right people, things work. Yeah, and so the whole idea of the marketplaces is also the flowing, obviously we work in ebbs and flows in my world. If we can smooth out the campaigns that run throughout the year with incremental sales through marketplaces, we're winning. Yeah, so the more time we can do that. And we adjust our marketing budgets accordingly. Yeah, so that's the marketplace area. Now, so we can get into questions if you've got any before. But one of the things we do from a growth point of view is we really focus on the areas that we know we can get more out of. Why? As I said, 60% of our business, our revenue, comes from our current customer base, our mailing list. Yeah, they are passionate. When this business was basically, it was like $75 AOV. We're now running at 150 AOV. Yeah, people were buying pretty much once, maybe twice a year. We're now buying 3 times a year. So frequency of purchase is right up there. Yeah, and so now with growth, through my mate Rich, with Rebuy, we've put on Rebuy. If you know what Rebuy is, it's cross-sell, upsell plug-in that you have off your site. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. We kind of do about 13 to 15% of every interaction. We add value to the sale. Yeah, and what we're going to be doing is optimizing that to see, here's a big hurdle for you. At 15, we'll take it up to 17 to 20% increase per transaction. Yeah, opportunity. So that, you see what I'm saying, this whole game, e-commerce, to me, is all about numbers. Yeah, I'm an accountant by background, so sorry. And I wear sort of sensible shoes. But at the end of the day is that the numbers drive the business. If you don't understand the numbers, forget it. We look at revenue, top line, absolutely, but every day I'm looking at my bank account. Yeah, what's in there as cash flow? What's running? You run it as a small to medium business, but you can scale it as a large business. So think small, grow big. Yeah. So from that, what are we also doing? We're optimizing and we're bringing in now about 150 new ambassadors every single month through our meta marketing campaigns. It's that simple, right? Out of those people, it's gold. That territory is gold. No other one of our competitors, Dusk, Glasshouse, and any other group like that, has got a database like us, has got an affiliate / ambassador group like what we have. We are now using that as a great funnel of 150. They turn into about 20, not optimized yet. So that's one of the things we're optimizing and get into actually buy. So if they buy average order of 150, that's a pretty good return on investment from a $5 cost per acquisition for a new name. Yeah, so this is the numbers that we work off every single day. Yeah, why do I say we? Because it's me. Yeah, I am an AI business with multiple outsourced entities working with us, and I don't have an office anymore. I have it at home. And so I have what I call, well, my partner calls the NASA Launch Center. I have multiple screens with multiple dashboards everywhere in the office, always on. Yeah, and that's the real part of it. But the thing is, that's the operational side. The fun side is the well-being side. It's that conversation, it's the story, it's the heritage, the history, the sustainability. That is what we communicate through our ambassadors. And that's an easy story for us to tell to them, and that's an easy story for them to actually push out to their customers. It's a conversation. Yeah, and we're branching into a whole bunch of well-being and lifestyle type areas later on, but that's kind of where we're going. So to sum up, one of the things we really have learned along the way is playbook, playbook, playbook. Yeah, but before you get to the playbook, put together a risk matrix. Now here's the accountant in me talking. If you know what a risk matrix is, you don't go Google it, because it actually will write down the likelihood of the event happening and the impact to your business of that event happening, and it color codes it, right? You can get them on, just put it up onto Claude or any of the online platforms. By the way, we use AI all the way through the business. Yeah, we are always on with Claude. I'm a real, I'll go with whichever one actually works the best. Yeah, so we use Perplexity, we use Claude, we use ChatGPT for different things along the way, from image creation to copy creation to LLM work as well. So we're doing a lot of stuff. So we will be the mouse that roared, that no one knew, that all of a sudden someone knew again as a major brand in about 2 or 3 years, because that's the pathway. Yeah. So we learn that, and with the risk matrix, what could go wrong in your business? Right? And I'm not too sure if you guys have got that plan, right? Shit happens. COVID. What's happening right now? In a month's time, we're probably not going to have much petrol to get around, right? Australia Post putting up their prices of delivery. It's going up to 19%. So they've gone from 12 to 19. So you've got to watch out that for your cost of delivery, blah, blah, blah. Everything that can go wrong in your business, you need to document. You need to see what the implication of your business can be, and use that as almost like, you know, the pilots on an airplane. Something goes wrong, they go to their cheat sheet. That to me is my cheat sheet of the business, and everybody in the business has got that. Everybody. Because they all know if this goes wrong, look at that first before you lose it. Yeah, so that's one of the things we learned. Well, I've learned all my life, but early on, that's what we implemented in the business. Playbooks. Call them procedures manuals, call them what you like, but we love to call it playbook because it's nice word play. And that goes into our AI area that we use. Then finally, find yourself awesome apps, very single tech stack. Don't go reinventing wheels, make it simple. The vision behind the business, low cost, high profit. Nice to tell you, we're back to profitability now, only after a few short years. It's been a bumpy road, a lot of headwinds, and I got to say the early part of the year is called, in our industry, the nuclear winter, because no one wants to burn a candle in summer. But we now have gone into a whole bunch of high-tech pet sprays and a whole bunch of things like that, which are done. Our partners, by the way, are exclusive from the US, and they are the largest, let's call it, fragrance company in the world. They work with scientists. Yes, science goes into the making of fragrance products. We work with Givaudan from Europe, who are a very high-end fragrance perfumery, and that obviously goes into the creation of our product. We're highly sustainable. We're plant-based ingredients. So we are, in fact, we have a 41, what we call no-no list of all our ingredients that we put in. So we do not include them. Yeah, so it's nothing like a cheap candle. Yeah, we position ourselves in the middle of the market. We're value priced and we're high quality. Yeah, so there's Glass House from Peter Alexander, you probably buy it from there, or you get dusk, you walk by, you smell like dusk for the rest of the day, and there's us. Yep, and we fit in that group. So really this story is one of 2 parts. Here's the final part, is what I really saw and I still do, and I'll quote from Michelangelo. I saw the angel in the marble, and so I kept carving to set him free. At the moment, I'm still with my hammer and sickle. Yeah, I still see the angel. The angel is forming, the beautiful wings are there. We just need to make it to that next step. So with that, thank you so much. I'm surprised there's more than 5 people here, so everybody that I planned in the audience, thank you for arriving. Any questions that you want to fire out? I'll give you the microphone so people can hear.
Yeah. How would you advise a online retailer to start out with an affiliate or an ambassador sort of program?
That's a good question. We also use Commission Factory as well. Yeah, it's one of them. Getting onto those programs is A, hard, B, you're brand new to them and you're one of thousands. Yeah, the amount of effort you need to put in is huge. Yeah, I'm really lucky because I actually attracted people before and they attracted more people. Yeah, but really now we attract people basically through Meta, offering our opportunity. Yeah, and it's really simple. Yeah, if you want to make extra cash and sell a product that actually works with you, you've got yourself a social media presence that you're good at social media, then maybe have a chat. It's all it is.
Are you only the Australia market?
Yes, we're only an Australia market at the moment because we're restricted by our exclusive agreement, because our global business, which is still going, they are dominant in the dominant in Europe and dominant in the US. Yeah, and obviously Canada, but US, Canada, same. Sorry. Sorry. Can I just pass the microphone?
For your Meta ads, do you use any AI to help with creating like multiple iterations of all your creative and so on?
That is an awesome question. Yes. We tried that. We've tried Meta AI because Meta AI has got its own versions and it comes up with not bad stuff. But you know what? I've gone to Meta now and we do basic, instead of doing videos, we do ugly stuff. Yeah? Ugly's good. Ugly works. Our product is visual, our product's colourful, but we also use AI to write the copy. Yeah? But it started off with us. We don't just say, hey, write this. We really put in some edgy stuff and we try to be a little bit different because talking about a candle is not right. We're talking about the lifestyle edge. But using Meta AI, we use all the usual suspects to create the campaigns. We started off when it first came and we started to use ChatGPT with 3 or 4 fingers of the lady holding a candle. That didn't work. We used Gemini, all of the above. So it really is good. What we're lucky to do is from the US, we get their stock images and their stock, let's call it lifestyle shots, and we Australianize them. Yes, using AI, absolutely. Because you can tell it what you want. You upload the image and you say, look, please adjust this image and put, more of an Australian scene to it, or an Australian, a lot of the photos that come out of America are American photos, right? Like get rid of the pumpkin, like get rid of the various things that are very US-centric, yeah. Which image generator? We currently use Gemini for a lot of that. I know we just switched, which last week, ChatGPT 2 came out with their new version. That's good, right? But then, next week you'll have Claude design, which is good. We use a lot of Claude skills as well, so we've really built the Claude skill program. But that's a lot of work, yeah? But I would say in another 6 months' time, Claude will be so easy. It's just like verbal. Build this skill for this, rather than going to GitHub and creating things that you just don't know how it's created, yeah? But definitely we don't have any preference, yeah? We just use whatever works. And who does it? My team, and they're all based in Indonesia.
Only marketing through Shopify?
Yes. So are you talking, do we market through Shopify?
Yeah. So you're selling only through your website? Yes. You're not selling through anybody else?
Yeah. No, we haven't gone to B2B yet, but we will be going to B2B shortly. Yeah. That's next growth. Yeah. Last question. I think we need to move on.
What are some specific ways that you use AI in your business?
Where do we start? Number one, we actually take all the data out of Shopify and we rank and score all sales. Yeah, our inventory is our number one focus of understanding how much inventory we have. One more thing I didn't mention is that we are very focused on keeping minimal inventory. Yeah, because that costs bucks, particularly in the warehouse. What we do is we use Claude, my good mate Claude, and we've created a whole bunch of little campaigns. And so every week, Claude goes into our download from ShipBob, our stock download, and breaks apart all our products and starts to do an analysis of how fast they're selling, when we get resets, when we should start reordering. And we've done that ourselves. It's so easy compared to buying very expensive plug-in solutions. Yeah. Can you pass that?
Is that Claude that you've used for Shopify? Yeah, sorry.
The question was, is that Claude that we've used? Yes. We use Claude for a lot of the grunt work, a lot of stuff, currently. Yeah, we used to use ChatGPT, but ChatGPT used to go AI crazy, yeah, and do some really interesting things and throw you back some interesting stuff, yeah.
Very interesting. Thanks for sharing. What would you do differently, if anything?
Get another job. I often say that to myself at home. Why am I doing this? And my 13 and 15-year-old sons are going, Dad, you used to be in banking, you used to be in finance, you used to be in mergers and acquisitions, and now you're selling candles. Why? It's a lifestyle, yeah? Dealing with every single customer, it's great. And I know that I'm helping someone relax purely because it's a pure operation. I know that I'm helping our ambassadors make some extra money. Some of our good ambassadors are making $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Clear. Yeah? And that's just through their own digital activities. That's great. But there's a long tail to that, obviously, the ones who are just tinkering. But yeah, but what would I do differently in the business? Early on, I would not fall down the path of listening to the bullshit of the agencies that have spun me. Oh, we can do this, yeah? That's one of the things that I learned, and that was very expensive. Another thing that I'd learned was dealing with my warehouse and understanding that more. Yeah, I thought I knew warehousing. No. I've learned the hard way, and it was very expensive the hard way. Yeah, so, and we're partnering with them now as hand in glove. Yeah, sorry, there's a hand. Sorry, was your question? Sorry. I like delivering the mic.
Are all these processes that you have executed in Indonesia?
The processes are done here. We create the process here in Australia in working with them, yes, but they execute it there, yes. Yeah. Their level of English language is insane. It's fantastic. Their comprehension is brilliant. Like when you outsource a lot of your work, sometimes the English language is fine, but the comprehension is not. Yes? And then the flow through is not. So now we actually have a very good thing, that English language flow through. Like I've had a lot of outsource centers in the Philippines, Nepal, India, the whole 9 yards. I'm sure we've all dealt with them in some way, shape, form or another. And that's kind of what I've done with that team. But you nurture that team. And even if they replace that person, which we've gone through multiple iterations of replacements, because they've moved on and they've gone on holidays or whatever, we can replace it because we've got the playbooks. They're really easy to, and then they're really big on training and upgrading and scaling up. Yeah. All right, we may have to sort of stop because there's another session coming in. One last question.
How are your ambassadors selling your products?
The ambassadors sell our products through digital means, but we also have opened up an area of recent times to give them a reseller rights. So what they do is they buy it at a wholesale price, and they're going out there and they're selling it by themselves to smaller groups, to smaller little businesses around the area. Yeah, so that's what they're doing. So it's only early days, but the main reason why the ambassadors do it, because they love it. Number one, they are a customer. Secondly, they'll actually go and share that on all of their social media pages, and they become a little, it's a lot of the unboxing, yeah, and they become fragrance experts. And they have a thing called fragrance scaping. So they'll walk through someone's home and say, hey, I've started in my toilet here, and this is a great spray, and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Sorry, last question.
No, it's good.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for being here and listening and turning up.